A rather interesting question, and we received it more than once. Leviticus 18 has a commandment about uncovering the nakedness of relatives. I don't really understand what it means and how relevant it is today. If it's the case between people of the opposite sex, it's understandable that to look at a naked body is indecent. But if we talk about brothers, fathers, if you're a man, boys, or mothers and daughters, etc., this issue especially arises in families with children, when children sometimes see their naked parents, for example, in the bathroom or while the latter is getting dressed. Thank you. Let's answer this question in portions. How relevant is the commandment from Leviticus 18 about uncovering the nakedness as of today?
Yes, well, the person asking the question apparently doesn't understand the heart of the matter. Uncovering the nakedness is, let's say, the issue of translation, apparently, or the issue of how the scripture was presented at the time. However, it doesn't talk about gazing at the nakedness. What's meant here in the scripture is intimate sexual relationships, and if they're allowed. What's meant here is that intimate sexual relationships among close relatives are forbidden. And we see a list of blood relatives that we aren't allowed to be intimate with. It's forbidden to marry, say, the relatives listed in this chapter: aunts, uncles, moms, dads, sisters, brothers, at least blood relatives, and so on. This is something that's considered to be a grave sin, incest. And it's 100% relevant these days. Nowadays, if we talk about believers, this question could be taken to a different level. For us, extramarital relationships are sinful by definition, especially the kind of relationships that involve blood relatives. It's something that I believe gives the enemy tremendous authority in a person's life. If we talk about incest, it's one, I would say, of the most dangerous sins.
And if we move on to the second part of this question, a more practical one, how should a person apply it in their lives? I repeat, this issue especially arises in families with children, when children sometimes see their naked parents. There may be other situations. Could you add something concerning this issue?
If something like this happens in New Guinea, it may be something natural. But if it, let's say, happens in Europe at some nudist beach, then I think it's really bad and leaves very negative imprints on those people and especially their children. Later, it would be very difficult for them to relate to the scripture and to put their mind in some sort of order. There may be yet another facet to the issue of uncovering the nakedness. There's a commandment in the Torah: you shall not go about as a talebearer among your people. This passage talks about people who are peeking, eavesdropping, learning some negative things going on in other people's lives. Family issues. Well, you get the idea. So they were collecting this damaging information and could cause shame to, let's say, some respectable person.
Cause serious damage to their reputation?
Yes, putting it lightly, to destroy their reputation and cause a lot of shame. There are specific commandments that talk about the following. Say in the Talmud, there are a lot of ethical commandments about how believers who love God have to take care about the honor of some other person, not less than they care about their own. So, different sages emphasize this topic. I think these problems were ubiquitous in our people and any people for that matter. For this reason, sages, teachers of the Torah, give us instructions in this regard to remind everyone about these issues. It's very important. It may be a minor aspect, less noticeable, but it is as important as any other.